Again, 59-year-old Brenda Pfeiffer made a rather brief appearance in the Wynberg Magistrate Court in Cape Town today. She's been charged with murdering her bedridden sister. The court held that after strangling her sister to death, Pfeiffer went to the police station to hand herself over. She's been granted bail of 1,000 rand and the case has been postponed to December. Senior reporter Ayesha Ismail was in court for us. Ayesha, good afternoon. Just tell us what happened in court today. I mean, what was the mood like and what's the demeanor of the accused?
Well, Dan, there weren't many people sitting in the court today when Brenda Pfeiffer made her first appearance. We saw a handful of family members eventually talking to her. And as to her demeanor, she appeared quite calm when she stood in the dock and when she was conversing with the legal aid attorney as well, because she was given an option as to whether she wanted to defend herself, whether she wanted to appoint her own lawyer or whether she wanted a legal aid lawyer. She chose a legal aid lawyer. We then heard some details in court as to what actually happened, and we heard that she had allegedly strangled her 53-year-old sister, bedridden Trudy, and it happened at about after 5 o'clock on the 26th of September. That would have been on Tuesday. And we then heard that Pfeiffer went to the local Grassy Park police station to go and hand herself over and to tell them what happened. She was then accompanied to the flat where she was staying with her sister by 2 police officers, where they found the sister still in bed, and they also found the murder weapon, which in this case was a leather belt. Pfeiffer was then granted bail of 1,000 rand and warned to return to court on the 1st of December. There were some family members in court, as I said. They were extremely hostile towards the reporters who were there. They didn't want to talk to us, obviously not understanding that we have a right to be there and to report on these matters. But I did speak to the executive director of an NGO called the Colours Foundation, Caroline Peters, who said that she was given a call by a friend of Brenda Pfeiffer minutes after the incident took place, and she was called by this friend because of the work that the Colours Foundation does. For instance, they do psychosocial support. They also work with women who come in conflict with the law, and they also then advocate for non-custodial sentences for these women, because what they make very clear is that while they do not excuse the crime, it is important for people and the courts to understand the background and the circumstances. Let's listen to what Caroline Peters had to say to me earlier today.
Since a week ago, she had shown signs of a breakdown. You know, the friend said she was literally having a breakdown because she needed to go with a disabled sister and she felt she had nowhere to go. She then felt despondent, and from what I can hear, she really suffered mentally as well. You know, often we do not speak about the mental health of someone, and especially in the crisis that we are. If you look at food insecurity, you know, in our country, at the moment it is high, Aisha. So just not having food, not having anywhere to stay, she was at her end, yeah.
Ayesha, any idea why she killed her sister exactly? Do we know? I mean, just from this first bite we've played, it seems like there was some mental health issues here. There were some challenges.
I think, Dan, also, I have to say that when I spoke to Caroline Peters, she did say that Brenda and her sister were served with an eviction notice. They hadn't paid the rent for about 8 months. And this finally came to a head where the landlord came a week ago and said, you need to make a plan. You've been served with an eviction notice and you now have to leave. And according to Caroline Peters, the friend said to her that Brenda Pfeiffer did not have anywhere else to go. She hardly had food in the house. And so having to figure out what to do with herself and her sister, having been served with an eviction notice, it then became too much for her. Let's listen to what Caroline had to say to me.
Some of the words that she said was she is going to kill her sister because then she will go to prison, and in prison she will have a roof over it and have food. And often we cannot fathom that one needs to be incarcerated to find food security and just a roof over your head. I mean, it sounds, it's not normal, Ayesha, that women has to go through this. Yeah.
What a tragedy, Ayesha. As we conclude, I'm just reminded about the story from the Eastern Cape, where a mother killed her children and herself because of food insecurity, and she didn't know where to go. Now we seemingly have another case, and one can imagine under the current economic conditions in our country, many more people will find themselves in this desperate situation. But she went to the police, she reported the murder, she then paid today 1,000 rand bail. I don't know, it was paid on her behalf, and she'll be back in court in December.
That is correct. Her family members paid her bail, and she is now going to go, she's been released, and she will be back in the Wynberg Magistrates Court on the 1st of December.
Ayesha Ismail, thank you very much. Live to us from our studios in Cape Town.